I'm here with Dr. Michael Doran. He's the director of the Honors Program, and he's also in the Department of Computer Sciences as a professor. Do you think you should actively use and encourage your students to use the technology you have available in all of your classes?
Yes, I think it does add to the learning process because we are such a digital age now. It's expected, but we also have to understand all facets of it, not only as a user, but as a creator of new technologies and new applications for existing technologies.
So when you're working with your freshmen, even if they're not in computer science, if they're anyone in the honors program, do you think they're well prepared to use technology through their high school and even way down to elementary school experience?
I think the majority of students are, well, certainly in computer science, obviously. That probably goes without saying. Certainly in the honors program, I think we see, I would say, almost universal knowledge of technology. But I think on the general student population, we still see gaps. And, it's almost across the board. It can be students in any discipline, any background. This is probably more of a symptom of our region rather than the times. We still face a lot of students in this part of the country that are first generation, have not had the opportunities in their high schools. Even among honors students, I still hear from students that their schools may not have AP credits or a full array of science courses and such. And often you'll see those students likewise lacking in some of their technology skills or proficiencies or even opportunities for use.
Do you have an idea on how that could be fixed? Should the teachers do it, or should the students take it upon themselves to try to teach themselves?
It's probably the case of both. Certainly the teachers in those schools have to emphasize it more, but obviously that takes resources. The children, the students, obviously their families and parents have to, give them the opportunities, but that likewise costs resources.
Right.
Somebody has to, bite the bullet for those resources, but, if those gaps are to be lessened and overcome, then, it has to take place because in the future it's only going to get worse. And, many of those very talented students still have the intellectual ability to be in honors or even in computing or engineering or whatever. But, even then they start a step behind everybody else. So it's those gaps really have to be overcome.
I know this summer you were doing something with middle schools, teaching them robotics and
Yes.
things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Would you think that's a good way to introduce them to technologies and what's available?
Oh, yes. I've been doing this over a decade now. And it's funny that I sometimes even see there's probably 3 or 4 students in honors who come up and say, "You don't remember me from 6th grade?" And I had them in the camps, 8, 10, whatever years ago when they were in 6th, 7th grade or whatever. And I think it does help. I think it does get them excited, even if they're not going to major in engineering or computer science or whatever. It gives them a richer knowledge about the STEM disciplines and how it relates to anything. And I think it certainly makes them focus that when they go back to class at school, all their classes are important. And to do well in the sciences and the math courses, which will prepare them well for, high school and college. Even if they want to be an English major or a psychology major or pre-med or whatever, I think it does help. And certainly, as my dean would hope, it does help them become more interested in computing and technology educations. And I think it does. And I think probably computing is so misunderstood in those levels that they don't know what careers truly are possible. So hopefully this will overcome that.
Seems like a good way to teach them what's available, like you said.
Yeah, and it's also fun too. So you can learn and have fun while you're doing it.
When I was there helping, everyone had pretty much a smile on their face, seemed really into it.
And certainly computing, we're not the only ones that do. Physics has something, and earth sciences has something. So it shows them when they come and they learn, you can have fun while you're learning too. So yeah, that's important.
So have you heard about the ACCRS standards at all?
No, what's that?
It's like the Alabama State Standards for College and Career Readiness. and they started putting in some technology uses, like using blogs, podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that will be helpful to prepare students for college?
Not really sure. Sometimes my fear about those sorts of things on the web is that editorial control. Because I could get up there and say, Lee won at Gettysburg. Obviously, that's wrong.
Right.
But who's going to check it? And if a couple people get on there and say, "I didn't know that. That's amazing." Well, no, that's wrong. So if you buy a textbook, if you buy an encyclopedia, if you go to a reputable website,
Right.
you're going to get the true history of the Battle of Gettysburg, and you're going to see he loses. Okay, and that's the way history should be taught. If a blog or a Twitter or some sort of a account is set up like that, there has to be some sort of editorial control. And just because I blog it, even if I blog the right stuff that he lost, if I say it poorly, if I don't provide all the facts, if I don't provide the appropriate presentation, if I don't analyze why he lost, then that's not really serving the true educational thing that needs to be provided to anyone using that. So I think that's still an open area,
Right.
and we need to have better understanding and better monitoring and better editorial review of those types of things. But it's certainly a great way to get information out, to generate interest, to provide, certainly provide feedback. But it's just possibly a case where it could become a free-for-all, and we have to guard against that.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Alrighty, pleasure. Enjoyed it, Liz.